What's up, everybody? How's it going? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wacky Wednesday, as they all say, as everybody normally says, I guess. I hope you all having a great Wednesday. I had a pretty busy Wednesday. I've been running around all damn day trying to get my shit straight, and then, oh no. Are we losing? Are we dropping frames? Are we dropping frames on everything, guys? Are we dropping frames everywhere? Okay, it looks like we're back on. But it doesn't look like we're staying on. Oh, well, it is what it is. We'll get this show knocked out, and then we'll continue on trying to have better luck with it because it doesn't look like the internet's working very well for me. But that's okay. It is what it is. I just got home in time for the show. What's up, Michigan girl? I'm glad that you just got in. I'm glad that you're here to join us. We're going over the Bruiser Bedlam episode of the Dark Side of the Ring. So the Dark Side of the Ring usually covers a whole bunch of the different things that you wouldn't see in mainstream professional wrestling media. And it covers a bunch of the things that, oh no, I have people in the chat, and they're coming up in the chat, but it says we have 0 people in the chat. Sorry, guys, my stuff is slowed down for some reason. Lori, thank you for liking the page. Thank you, Lori, even though it says that you're not here technically. It looks like we're not necessarily getting all of our views counted on everything. So that's just part of it. It is what it is. Sometimes you got technical difficulties. So thank you for Michigan Girl and Lori for joining us over here on the stream. And we're going to be talking about the Dark Side of the Ring, Bruiser Bedlam, a.k.a. Johnny K9, a.k.a. the guy who was a professional wrestler, and he also served a side job or a side life or, whatever, a secret life, whatever you want to call it, as a hitman for a mob or for a motorcycle gang or for a gang, whatever you want to call it. He was a thank you, Lori, for confirming that you are here. I'm glad that you are here. I don't know if anybody else is here. I think that the internet's kind of messing us up. It's slowing us down a little bit. I can't really tell, but it looks like we're rolling. So I'm gonna roll, and we're gonna continue on, and then if anybody needs to see the replay, then we'll just see the replay. It is what it is at this point. There is not much that I can do. I'm not going to replay it or restart it, retry it or anything. So, but this is why I usually go earlier because you never know, man. A lot of times this nighttime stuff, it just doesn't necessarily work out very well. There's always some type of complications going on. Always some type of complications going on. So I drove most of the day doing my my 2 side jobs. I was serving some papers, and then I was going out and mainly serving papers today and running around trying to find people and trying to see if I found the right person, if I knew that was the right person. And I don't know. I have to write a description down of that person. So there's no telling if you actually find the right person or not until you see a picture of them or you see a description of them or anything like that. And it makes me think if Bruiser Bedlam was a hitman, he had to have had a hard time figuring out who exactly he was supposed to be hitting unless he knew who it was, unless he personally knew them. How could you be so sure? How could you be for sure 100% that you're hitting the right person, that you're killing the right person? How could you know that for sure? That's a hard lesson. That's a hard lesson to learn, and it's quite the interesting lesson, I think. Because you never know. You never know who the hell is doing what. And from what I've seen in the professional wrestling media especially, majority of the people who knew Bruiser Bedlam did not know and had no idea that he had this secondary life going on. They had no idea that he was I guess an assassin, I guess a hitman, he was never really caught for anything. And that's one of the articles that I brought up today for this episode because I thought it would be very interesting to go over because you never really know. You never actually really know what the hell is going on with these things. But I found an article from back in what we call The Day where it said, hey, thank you, Christopher Barclough, for joining us. Very nice. We have Christopher Barclough here as well. Thank you, Bubba. Thank you so much for liking that chat. All right. Natural causes succeed where mob hitmen and gangsters fail. Johnny K9 is dead. Johnny K9. Now, he's a pro wrestler. That's what we all knew him as. We knew him as Johnny K9, as Bruiser Bedlam in Jim Cornette's promotion. I can't remember the name of the fucking promotion right now, but it's one of Jim Cornette. It was Jim Cornette's promotion, but now it's not. Christopher Barclough. What's up, Christopher Barclough? How are you, buddy? How are you doing tonight on this beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous Wednesday night? I hope that you're doing well. And I'm doing pretty well myself. So let's get into it. So Johnny K9, or Ian Croyturu, 53, was a biker, gangster, and former pro wrestler who found himself embroiled in underworld mayhem from Hamilton to Vancouver over 20 years. So he found himself. You say that like he didn't actually mean to do it. It seems like he actually meant to do what he was doing. It seems to me like he was living his life. He was living his dreams. He loved the money. He loved the status. He loved everything that went with it. Cody Blade, thank you so much. Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Jim Cornette's Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Thank you, Cody Blade, for that. I do appreciate it. But Smoky Mountain Wrestling was not supporting the fucking bikers. They were not supporting gangsters. Nobody had any idea that this guy right here was a gangster. But this is an undated handout of UN gang member Ian William Croyturu. I can't even say his name. Meeting Clay Roach. Both men were charged with conspiracy to murder the Bacon brothers and their Red Scorpion gang associates. Red Scorpions. Got to be careful around them gangs. Gotta be careful with those gang members. What's up, James? How you doing, buddy? James said, hello, how are you doing? I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing great. I hope you guys pay attention to my my social media, because Paul Jordane's going to be debuting for CZW coming up this Sunday, so you need to make sure that you get to that. But back on to the story. As hugely colorful as he was, just huge, Ian Croyturu. Let's see if I can get the computer to announce it for me. Oh, there's no look it up. Damn. Usually there's like a lookup button, and I can look it up. But I don't have a lookup. Oh, maybe I do. I guess it's Russian. I don't know. I don't know. But he was a biker, gangster, former professional wrestler, and bit part actor who constantly found himself embroiled in alarming and dangerous underworld mayhem, from bombing a police station to gangland murders. I'm just going to say K9 instead of his name. I'm going to say K9. K9 died Tuesday inside a Toronto halfway house, so he was halfway in between getting out of prison and, getting back home. Found unconscious by staff with his electronic monitoring bracelet still on his thick ankle. 6 months after his release from the British Columbia, British Canadian, whatever you want to call him, British something. Rick Morris, thank you for liking the page, guys. I'm glad that you guys are here. It's awesome seeing you. Alex, what's up? Cena fan, how are you doing? James over there on the Instagram. I'm trying to keep up. Cole Heather, how are you as well? We got Cole Heather here. We got a little bit of everybody here going on. What's going on, Cole Heather? How are you? We're talking about Bruiser Bedlam today. We're doing the Dark Side of the Ring Bruiser Bedlam episode, which is always fun. Always fun covering Dark Side of the Ring. So after his raucous life, alongside some of the most dangerous names in Canada, organized crime, and Canadian organized crime, from Hamilton to Vancouver, the biggest shock perhaps is his death is deemed to be from natural causes. You don't think it could be because he was overweight? Because he was a big boy. I mean, he was 300 pounds. 300 pounds is a big boy. It's a big boy. We're big boys around here. If I die, it's probably going to be natural causes, and it's probably going to be because I'm too big. 6 feet tall and 300 pounds. He was barrel-chested, bald-headed, and thickly muscular. Recruited into wrestling after a fighter saw him working as a bouncer at a rough-and-tumble Hamilton bar. He earned a reputation as hugely entertaining and a dirty fighter, described by commentator being like an animal or a dog in the ring, which is Johnny K9. He made it to the World Wrestling Federation in the 1980s under the name Johnny K9 as a heel or bad guy, and was dubbed the most dangerous man in wrestling. Or a bad guy. He once fought televised match against Hulk Hogan. He said He took the nickname when he was arrested and saw Canine, the designation for a police dog, no shit, Sherlock, painted on the side of the police vehicle he was placed in. That name stuck. Here, let me put up a picture of Bruiser Bedlam while we're talking about him so that you guys are able to see exactly who we're talking about. Bruiser Bedlam, there we go, boom. Big man, and he was a lot younger, or he was a lot older whenever he died. Cole Heather, hi, I'm doing great. Watching The Purge, election year movie. Good for you. That sounds like a fun time. Marsh, what's up, Marsh? 913. And then Cole Heather, how are you doing? I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. Had a busy day today, and now we got our show rocking and rolling, as they say, if you will. So, K9 was a man who could be genial, lighthearted, but was also had an easy comfort with violence inside and outside of the ring. Sometimes we do have an easy comfort with violence. Sometimes, you know, you are comfortable with violence. Sometimes it's not that big of a deal to witness violence, because especially if you are dealing with it. Cena fan, Facebook is acting up on my end. Go to YouTube. Head on over to YouTube. YouTube seems to be working much better. I don't think the stream is working properly on Facebook. Seems like it's going in and out. So, and there's nothing that there's literally nothing I can do about that. So head on over to Facebook, and hopefully Facebook will be a little bit better for you, because I know that, for some reason, you know, we don't have a really good signal tonight, and sometimes we have good signal, sometimes we don't, but this is temporary. It's going to take a couple of months, and then we'll be back to normal, to having good broadcasts, good stories, very good, just very good, what's the word I'm trying to look for before I freaking forget it? Quality. High quality. We want high quality here. We want high quality here on the Just Jordane Show. But Bruiser Bedlam, like, most people who knew him were like, oh, he was so nice, he was so great. Even, like, I know people who met him, and they were like, hey, I met him when I was a kid, and it was so cool. He was so badass. He was so nice. He was such a sweet person. Christopher Barclough is my Facebook page. Thank you, Cena fan. I will be aware of that for the future. Thank you so much. No, that's not what we wanted. Bikers Bedlam and Johnny Canine. Where was the article that I was just on? Did it go away? Oh, here we are. Oh, no, I went to the wrong one. Okay. He worked as an enforcer and debt collector for the mob, accumulating a rap sheet for assault, extortion, drugs before he got serious in the underworld. Before he got serious, sounds like he's pretty damn serious now. You don't think he's pretty damn serious now? It's like ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It sounds like he's pretty serious if he's a debt collector for the mob, and an enforcer. What is he enforcing? What exactly is he enforcing? I don't know. I would like to know, though. Bruiser Bedlam. There you go. There's a good shot of him. There's the face. And I'm sure he could do some evil shit. He recently said he rarely had to hit anyone because everyone quickly paid his debt when he came to call just by looking at him. K9 revealed in the money, notoriety, and fame he drew from working with serious gangsters. He reveled in it. He loved it. It was one of his favorite things. He first made a name for himself in organized crime as the president of Hamilton, Ontario chapter of the Satan's Choice Motorcycle Club. Satan's Choice Motorcycle Club. Guys, be careful joining gangs. Please, be careful. Don't join any gangs, okay? Be careful with that shit. They don't have they're going to waste away the young men who join the gangs. You're just trash to them. So always remember that. He pleaded guilty in the 1990s to conspiring to bomb a strip club in Sudbury after the club asked members of the gang to remove their jackets bearing their gang's colors. It led to a standoff with the Sudbury police. Johnny K9 secured the explosive, but in the end, the bikers moved their ambition up a notch, and in 1996, his bomb was instead used to blow up the Sudbury's police headquarters. It punched a hole in the wall and made an immense statement, but no one was injured. Luckily, no one was injured, but I mean, come on now. After the 1997 murder of Johnny Pops Papalia, a mafia chieftain based in Hamilton, who was one of the country's leading mobsters. Okay, guys, hashtag IHTP, I will BRB. Hashtag IHTP, I will BRB. Hold on, guys, I'll be right back. I've been holding this in. I should have peed before we started, but I didn't. Okay, I am back now. We're going to try to finish this. We're going to try to finish this up now. Hopefully I didn't make too much of a ruckus while I was on my way out. Heading back in. So, in response to the murder, Papadelia's killer, or killers, oh no. There we go. Alongside others, in response to the murder, Papalia's killer and rival mobsters who said ordered the hit braced for a response from the mob clan. They drafted a list of those who might strike back on Papadelia's behalf, and Johnny K9 was at the top of the list. Alongside others, and now that's just speculation, obviously. That's just speculation. Alongside others, Johnny K9 was arrested in 2005 and charged with the 1998 shotgun slayings of Lynn Gilbank, a Hamilton criminal defense lawyer, and her husband, Fred, a computer specialist. This prosecution in that case ended after one of the longest bail hearings in Canadian history, when it was deemed there would be no reasonable prospect of a conviction. So they tried to get his ass, but they couldn't get him. They had a hard time getting him, and they really couldn't get him. So what are you going to do about that? There's not much that you can do about that. It is what it is. He then moved to Vancouver and worked in security for the film industry, and also had small parts as a heavy in films. Johnny K9, however, was unable to avoid the lure of gang life and easy money he sought in Vancouver. He started working with the United Nations gang. What the fuck is the United Nations gang? In 2008 and 2009, a drug war between the UN gang and rivals in the Red Scorpions led the Bacon brothers, gripped by British Columbia's lower mainland, featuring high-powered weaponry, daylight shootings, and raging gun battles from moving cars. They got a lot of crazy shit going on here. In case of mistaken identity, a man who was driving one of the Bacon brothers' cars was shot dead and his girlfriend injured. In 2013, Croy, too, pleaded guilty to a conspiracy to commit murder and conspiracy to traffic in cocaine and marijuana in lieu of the first-degree murder charges he faced. His sentence was 13 years in prison, minus the time pretrial custody. It was his third federal prison term. Federal prison term. Wow. First-degree murder, you only serve 13 years. Now, do you guys believe this? Do you believe that this guy is that fucking evil, or do you believe that this is all hearsay? Because it could be one or the other. It could be both. TM Patterson. What's up, TM Patterson? How are you? I hope you're doing well. I haven't heard from you in a long time. TM Patterson's hanging out in the chat. And then Cody Blades, Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Hell yeah, Cody Blades. Thank you so much. In applying for parole, he downplayed his role in the BC, in the British Columbia gang war, saying he was only guilty for being a braggart and having false bravado. He told parole officers he merely wanted to impress his friends. Part of me believes that. Cena Fan, it's a criminal gang out of Vancouver, British Columbia. I got you. Thank you, Cena Fan. I appreciate the heads up. I am no angel, he told parole officers. But because of his reputation and size, he gets blamed for more than he really does, he said. If he is around trouble, everyone believes he is responsible for the trouble, he claimed. He would never kill anyone, he said. I mean, I don't know the guy. I'm a fan who's just seen the documentaries. I never even knew like anything about him anyway. Not the biggest Smoky Mountain Wrestling fan. I got to go back and watch it and see. But we'll see, you know. Johnny Canine was freed on a statutory release on August 2016, but the Parole Board of Canada still imposed special restrictions on him. Among his parole conditions was to avoid people in gang and organized crimes. Go figure. I would think that would be a good idea. And he was banned from entering the city of Hamilton. He begged to be returned to his home province of Ontario, though asking the board to let him prove he was a changed man and volunteering to wear an electronic ankle monitor. He insisted he wanted to focus his attention on being a family man and to distance himself from his criminal past. He is survived by his wife, Tracy, and 3 children. Your long history of negative associates and organized crime activity that includes violence is extremely concerning, the parole board noted in its most recent decision in August 2016. A review of your file reveals a man that engaged in a criminal lifestyle for over 20 years. News of his death came as a surprise to many old associates, especially that he died of natural causes. Wow, that's really too bad. I didn't like the guy. But damn, said an old known associate of Canines. Through bars and bikers' ties, he asked his name not to be published. Darnell, Cool Breeze, Bubba. Cool Breeze, Darnell Anderson said, I don't know if you've seen the Dino Bravo story, but he lived a double life as well. He worked for the mob in Canada as well. And his death is a lot worse than what, like Bruiser Bedlam died of natural causes. Man, Dino Bravo died not... He didn't have a good way of it. He got murdered. That dude was murdered. They murdered the shit out of him. That dude, didn't he have his head shot? Or was it like a couple shots and he was just laying in his couch? And somebody did him in. And it's crazy. But yeah, Cool Breeze. I did see that one. I don't think we did an episode on it because I wasn't too familiar with Dino Bravo. But Dino Bravo was really fucking good, though. You gotta admit, he was really fucking good. Dino Bravo was shot and killed in an alleyway in Canada. So then who was I thinking of that got shot and killed in their house? Was there another guy? Was there another fucking pro wrestler who was involved in the mob and was doing that? Like, come on. All right, Bruiser Bedlam. He definitely was notorious. He said Johnny was not the most pleasant person, but he fought for his beliefs, had a passion for riding and the biker lifestyle. He was a bulldozer. But what does that even mean? I don't even understand what that's supposed to mean. Like, Johnny Canine was an asshole. He's the one that's over here killing these people, apparently. So after the whole documentary, after the Dark Side of the Ring documentary, I don't know if you guys watched the whole thing or not, but here's my thought process on it. My thought process on the Dark Side of the Ring for the Bruiser Bedlam episode was maybe. Okay, let me get my microphone over here. Maybe he just wanted the clout. Maybe he was looking for the clout, and he joined the biker gang because he liked having that camaraderie. And if you're finished with wrestling, you don't necessarily have the camaraderie anymore because you're not a wrestler anymore. You're not wrestling anymore. So you're gone out of that lifestyle. And the camaraderie of the professional wrestling is like while you're in it. But when you're out of it, of course, I've seen a few of my friends post here recently on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, one of all of the above. But they were talking about how when they stopped wrestling so much, they didn't hear from the boys as much. They didn't see or hear from them. But that's like anything. Think about when you're in high school. You see and hear from all of your high school friends. But then when you get out, what happens? What happens when you get out of high school? Majority of the time, it's not like you keep up with all your high school friends. You don't. Most people don't. Majority of the time, because you have to be there. So then y'all are connected that way. If you really want your connection with your friends, and if you think that they are your friends, you would connect with them and you would write them a message and say, hey, how you been, man? I know I can't wrestle anymore, but I would like to know how you are. I would like to know how you've been. How's it going? How are you doing? Those types of things. So it is what it is. Cena fan or Christopher Barclough said, the gang rules always says you live by the gang, you die by the gang. And that sounds pretty legit too. That's a pretty legit statement. I would believe that. I would definitely believe that. Anyway, Toronto police confirmed that Johnny K9 died a sudden death inside a halfway house on Tuesday. Toronto paramedics, fire department, and police attended. He was declared dead at the scene. A source said it was suspected a respiratory ailment, acute pulmonary edema. But the case was still open, pending information from the medical examiner. A funeral is being planned for him and his services in Hamilton. So at least he got it back into Hamilton. Now we'll read one more article before we finish off. Drug overdose. Could have been a drug overdose, but he was in a halfway house, and I don't think they allow drugs in the halfway houses. So here we go. Dark Side of the Ring recap. Bikers, Bombs, and Bedlam. The Johnny K9 story. Dark Side of the Ring's third season is returning. Its end and this latest run of episodes may have caused more waves in the industry than any of have come before. Between the allegations of Ric Flair, and we talked about that, and Chris Kanyon more than a decade ago, it's been particularly dark. A few weeks for the Dark Side of the Ring. All right, we're going to continue on. Working with the WWE and meeting the love of his life. One of his first clips shown explains how Johnny K9 came to get the name Johnny K9. It is really as simple as it sounds. While under arrest, he noticed a K9 van written on it. That was all it took to persuade Johnny to change his name to Johnny K9. And that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Darnell, I agree. He was looking for that rush. I was like that when football was over for me. Yeah, exactly. Like I joined football in high school because I knew I wanted to be a wrestler. And, I was wrestling in high school, pro wrestling, Hulk Hogan style. And I knew that I needed to stay in shape, so I joined football for that. And I got a good adrenaline rush from football, but I never had I never had that intrinsic value. I never had that intrinsic motivation to pursue football, but I definitely had it for wrestling. So, it is what it is. The Sportster wrestling newsletter. Johnny first rose to prominence in the 1980s as an enhancement talent for the WWE. He would wrestle and lose to all the company's biggest stars, making a name for himself in the process. That run would eventually come to an end, to which point Johnny bulked up and attempted to make a name for himself on the indies. He tried. He was doing his best, but he couldn't quite make it. And, as you guys can see on here, he's a big fella, man. He's a big guy. He's a big dude. He's a big bro. It's at the same time he met his future wife, Tracy Edwards. Edwards is a big part of the episode. She was an exotic dancer at the time, and she met Johnny in a club during the 1980s or 1990s. Tracy claims she knew the two of them were destined to be together as soon as she walked in. She saw him walk in. Cena fan. Wrestling is the pure adrenaline rush. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. A package from Smoky Mountain is shown of Johnny hitting nails into a plank of wood with his bare hands. Cornette also tells a story about Johnny wanting to break a real glass bottle over his head. He hits himself with it 3 times, but it doesn't break. Cornette finally convinces Johnny to let him weaken the bottle so it will break more easily over his head. And that's Smoky Mountain Wrestling. That's Jim Cornette's wrestling company. And if you guys don't know who Jim Cornette is, that's okay. I love Jim Cornette. Randy Savage comes to wrestle at Smoky Mountain Wrestling for a one-off show. Savage asks Cornette if Johnny is his top guy. And when he tells him yes, Macho insists that Johnny win their match. That makes Johnny a big deal in Smoky Mountain. But after his run on top, Cornette says he has nothing else for him. And Johnny moves on. A life of crime. Now we're getting to the point where he doesn't have wrestling anymore. He's not able to do wrestling anymore. He's gotten older. He's a big guy, but he's not quite able to do his passion. He's not able to do what he's always wanted to do. So now what does he do? He still needs that adrenaline rush. We all need that adrenaline rush. He jumps into a life of crime. Tracy says that even though Johnny was making good money wrestling at that time in his life, there was still another side to him he couldn't give up. Johnny was high-ranking member of Satan's Choice Motorcycle Club that involved working for an organized crime family in Hamilton, Ontario. Tracy says he would often come home with blood on his pants and boots. Yeah, but that could be a wrestler too. That could very easily be a wrestler thing too, Cub. I don't know how many times I've come home with like blood all over me, or blood all over my boots, or blood all over my freaking pants. His involvement with the criminal world wouldn't become a major issue until an incident with another chapter of Satan's Choice, Sudbury, Ontario. Johnny visits a club called Solid Gold with other members of Satan's Choice. They refuse to remove their colors, which is against the rules and results in them having a standoff with the police. So you can't wear your gang colors at this specific bar. And they were pissed because they always represent. And they were like, oh, you're not going to let us represent? Okay. So how are they going to deal with that? Take a wild guess how they're going to deal with that. The leader of the other club arranges for the club to be bombed, something Johnny is on board and involved with. However, without Johnny knowing, the target is changed from the club to a police station. The bomb is placed in an alley next to the station and blows a hole in the wall. No one was injured, though, because we read that in the other one. Cena, he reminds me of Two-Face, wrestling and a gangster. Yeah, exactly. A little bit of both. The police eventually take down the gang after the bombing, and Johnny is taken in for questioning. Johnny gives up the name of other chapter's leaders who is responsible for changing the location of the bombing. Johnny is subsequently, I think I said that word right, kicked out of the gang for being a rat. He eventually goes to a prison for the bombing in 2000, at which point Tracy takes their child and moves to Vancouver. Yeah, poor girl. We got to deal with all this craziness from this crazy wrestler. We are all crazy wrestlers, though, so it is what it is. All paths lead back to jail. Johnny is released in 2002 and tracks Tracy down. He tries to convince her he's a changed man, but is arrested again, and a little while later charged with a double murder that happened 4 years prior. Johnny spends 20 months in jail, probably because they couldn't get enough information on him. But he's eventually released due to the lack of evidence. Oh, there we go. Johnny sues afterwards and receives an undisclosed settlement. So he sued them back because he was like, guys, I'm not guilty for this. And he sued them back, and he made some money. Darnell. No, Darnell's already said that. Cool. Tracy and Johnny end up getting remarried in 2007, at which point the wrestler makes some headway in the movie business. He can't resist a life of crime, though, and becomes a member of the UN gang. A clash between the UN gang and another gang goes wrong because the UN gang probably heard about how good of a fucking enforcer he was, so they probably wanted him, and results in the death of an innocent man. This time, Johnny goes to prison for it and is in there for 4 years for the part he played. After 4 years, Johnny is released from prison, but only to a halfway house. In 2017, police officers show up to Tracy's door asking if she knows Johnny. She's expecting to be told he is wanted for something else, so is left in a state of shock when they reveal Johnny has passed away at the age of 53. Damn, 53. I just watched Minoru Suzuki wrestle at the top at one of the top levels in the professional wrestling business, and he's 52 years old. Talk about motivating, right? Cena fan, if you rat, you will be swimming with the fishes. Exactly. Johnny's cause of death is the topic of a lot of controversy. Each of the people talking about him during the episode gives different explanations. While the official cause seems to be a heart attack, there is a belief among some that it was caused via an injection from someone wanting to kill him. Maybe, right? Others claim his lungs needed to be scraped after his death, which suggests being maced by officers caused his death. In the papers, his death is covered as a high-level gang affiliate, not being able to outrun natural causes. So natural causes ended up biting him on the ass. It ended up getting him, and that was the thing that did him in. The thing that did him in was natural causes. Natural causes for this guy who was a gang member, who was a pro wrestler, who was living that crazy lifestyle. But geez Louise, guys, like how can you, oh man. I don't see how he could be a pro wrestler and then have this double life. Like, you don't even have enough time to do that, dude. Like, you got to be going. You got to be going. Barclough, could it be someone was dressed as a doctor in the halfway house to give him a shot? I mean, anything is possible. I don't think that that's the case. I think that he probably died. He actually probably did die of natural causes. But there's really no telling for sure. You don't really know for sure. It's hard to tell. You don't know. You don't know. I know that I didn't know anything about him until this episode, but it was fascinating. It was very fascinating to me. Very fascinating to me. But that's just one of those things. There's not much, there's not much more that I have to say about it. So with that being said, I wanted to cover that. And I know that I was going over a lot of the craziness that he had going on. But one of the big things that we have to remember is you never really know what the hell is going on behind people's doors. People will hide shit. They'll hide shit all the damn time. It's just one of those things. You have to be careful with who you associate with because you never know exactly who you're associating with. People are going to go crazy, and people are crazy, guys. People are crazy, and they want attention. And this was a pro wrestler, so most pro wrestlers are begging for attention. As we get out there, we want attention. We all want attention. It is what it is. But you got to be careful with these types of people because maybe they're going to kill you. Maybe they're working for a gang. Maybe they're affiliated with the wrong people. Maybe you got to be careful. So you do have to be careful. So that's the final thoughts is be careful with who you associate with because you never really know who is living a double life. Who's living a double life? I don't know. I'm trying to think of my friends who I would think could be living a double life, and I think a few of them could be. But I'm not going to name them out. I'm not going to call them out until it happens, and then I'll be like, hey, I always knew it. But you never really know. You never really know. So, guys, be careful with who you associate with. Try to get to know your people as well as you can. Other than that, we had a good night tonight. Not going to be here Thursday. Maybe we'll have a Friday show. Maybe. I'm not exactly sure. I have to see how everything's going to work out for Friday. I'm definitely out of town on Thursday. I'm gone Thursday. I don't know if I'm going to be back on Friday or not. So I'll let you guys know. Keep up with my social media, or just look out for the episodes because it'll pop up as we go. But anyway, guys, I love you all. Hope you all have a good night. Peace out, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Or no, not tomorrow. Maybe Friday, if not next week. Sorry.